I'm up super early this morning, so I'm going to go to the store and see if I can find some fertilizer and just see maybe if something's on sale. So that's where I'm headed right now. Hey guys, welcome to another lawn update. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about winterizer fertilizer and some of the different thoughts about that. It's been about 4 weeks since I've put any fertilizer onto my overseeded areas, so it's getting to that time where I'd like to get a little bit more fertilizer on there. It's also getting to that time of year where things are slowing down just a little bit, and it actually should be quite a bit colder than it is right now, but the weather just doesn't seem to be happening that way this year. So what's happening is the next 10 days are still supposed to be for sure in the 60s. The next 10 days are still supposed to be for sure in the 60s, even some 70s, upper 70s. We've had a couple days ago and maybe another day coming up this next week. So this is not typical weather for this time of year where I'm located here in Iowa, but that's just what's happening. So I want to get some more fertilizer down on here. So we're going to do that here in just a second. I also want to talk a little bit about winterizer fertilizer and some of the different thoughts about that. Traditionally, people have kind of mentioned that as soon as the grass starts to get to a point where it's slowed down, it's not really growing anymore, but yet it's not dormant yet, you want to get the winter fertilizer down on there so that you can boost the roots and they'll continue to grow for a little while before the ground gets frozen. And then in the spring, you've got a good base there to start the new year. But recently I've been listening to a podcast, I'll put a link to that in the description, and I read a couple articles as well about some of the different ideas now that maybe that winter fertilizer isn't really doing as much as we once thought it was. So the thinking now might be more towards putting down more fertilizer at the beginning of the fall, kind of in September, and getting a heavier dose of it then when it can really utilize that, and when the temperatures are right and the water is still happening in the fall and things aren't too cold yet. So again, this year I actually kind of did a program somewhat like that, not quite, but I did put down some Scots, if you remember, and then a week later I put down some Milorganite. So I did do a heavier dose at that time, and my backyard really has looked really well this fall. Maybe that's something to think about for next year as an idea. But for right now, I think I am going to put down my winterizer fertilizer on my backyard because, as I mentioned, with temperatures still staying the way they are, I think I want to try to utilize that nitrogen right now and get it into the ground while it's still warm. And then we'll figure out if later on, when it starts to cool down, if we want to put anything more down as far as nitrogen goes. All right, that's it for the fertilizing today. So I hope you guys will continue to stay with me for updates here as we kind of zone in on the end of the lawn care season. But with the weather continuing to be warm like it is, who knows how long this could go. So thank you guys once again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.